Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to kick off our very first weekly breathwork workshop with you guys. My name is Melissa, and I am a breathwork facilitator, and I'm also a music producer and an artist, and I have combined all of my interests into one thing, and that is breathwork music. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but first I just want to give you guys a little rundown on what to expect. So we will be first talking about the basics of breathwork, how it benefits the mind, body, and soul, and deepens our connection to self. And then together we will all breathe to a breathwork song that I have created that is actually available on YouTube. So what is breathwork? Is it just breathing? Sort of. Breathwork basically is the practice of conscious breathing with awareness and intent. And breathwork isn't actually anything new. It stems from very ancient practices, one of them being in yoga, known as pranayama. And so breathwork is just a very broad concept that contains many therapeutic exercises that can be used to relieve mental, physical, or emotional tension. Okay, breathing with intent and awareness, like what is that gonna do for me? Is probably what some of you are thinking right now. And then, well, you really have to think about what the breath actually is. It is literally the foundation of life. Like, we would not be existing right now if we weren't breathing, right? It's the first thing that we do when we are born, and it's the last thing that we do before our bodies decease. And so you have to really kind of think about how powerful that energy really is, right? And so we go throughout most of our lives not even thinking about breathing. And so this is where we kind of get the idea, we don't need to think about it, right? Because our body does it for us. So what actually happens when we decide to combine our powerful life force energy, aka the breath, and our powerful consciousness energy? It blows my mind every single day, more and more every single day. The more I think about it, it's very, very powerful. And this is why there are certain people in the world, like Wim Hof, who practice a particular breathwork every single day, and it essentially grants them superpowers. This man has over, I think, 30 world records for athletic abilities. He has been able to destroy a mycotoxin that was injected while under scientific studying, and was able to completely destroy the microtoxins just by breathing. And this man, Wim Hof, has also completed marathons in the Mojave Desert as well as Antarctica, just in his underwear. No shoes, no clothing, no water, no food. Literally just relies on the breath to do these crazy feats. There was even one interview that I watched of Wim Hof where he was describing a time where he was in Antarctica and went underwater in sub-degree temperatures, like freezing temperatures, went under and like a giant thick layer of ice to swim under it. I think it was about the size of a football field, and was able to swim through the whole thing. And said as he was swimming through, his eyeballs even froze over. But he was able to maintain himself and finish it because he stayed focused on his breath and maintained a breath pattern that kept him alive through that crazy stressful environment. So that's just one example of how powerful breathwork really is. So if Wim Hof can utilize the breath to take charge of his body enough to be able to do some crazy extreme things, like running in naked in Antarctica and totally being fine, then imagine what it can do for the everyday person, right? And so this is why I am so passionate about breathwork, and I'm excited to share more about it with you guys today. So let's go over why I feel it is very important for anybody to practice some form of breath work. So the majority of people in this world breathe more shallowly than we should be, because we, especially in America as a society, we have grown up to being conditioned and sucking in our tummies to be skinnier, or we also live in a very stressful environment. If you think about it, we all deal with our own versions of stress every single day, and when we deal with stress, we naturally tend to tense up, which can constrict our breathing. And so when we take the time to consciously breathe and relax the body and give our full presence to ourselves, that allows us to expand and let go of all that tension and helps our body just function better. So something that really blew my mind when I really started to learn about breath work was the fact that 70% of, 70% of our body's metabolic waste gets processed through the respiratory system. So if we are breathing shallowly and not utilizing our full capacity of our lungs and our diaphragm, we're literally not allowing our body to detox in the way that it needs to. And if we're chronically doing this every single day, that's going to build up over time and can cause a lot of issues. And these issues can range from, having organ disorders to having mental or emotional disorders. For example, I had really severe anxiety for the majority of my life. As a kid, as a teenager and adult, I didn't know what it was for the longest time until about 2016. 2017 was when I started to discover breathwork and how it can help reverse anxiety. And so it made me realize how shallow I really was breathing. And when I started to practice that, the belly breathing and diaphragmatic breathing, I started to notice naturally I was becoming so much more calm. And doing it every single day, I recognized that I was able to stay calm even during really crazy stressful situations for myself. All right, so now we are gonna start collectively breathing together in a musically guided breathwork flow that I have originally created to intentionally activate and balance the root chakra, which is the first energetic center in our energy body down at the base of our spine. And this beautiful fiery red sphere of light represents security, stability, and safety in our lives and our sense of groundedness. And so by breathing to this song, the intention is to help you feel more solid and grounded in your skin. And a little more about the song. So this music that I create is very intentional. The note key, the tone, and the instruments were all chosen to specifically activate this chakra. So I hope it is all reflected like that for you. So without further ado,